Namaste, my name is Lenny. I am spiritual coach and energy healer, and in this video I will talk about spiritual practices which you should do and which you shouldn't do during your menstruation. Let's dive in. Okay, before we get into the spiritual practices, I actually want to talk about the menstruation itself and what that energetically means for your body, for your mind, and also your aura. So, menstruation is a time of rest. It is a time where you can connect deeply with yourself. You can go very, very deep. In the ancient cultures, this was always considered a time of high power. Some cultures, they had special places where they sent the women during this time because they were so powerful. And sometimes there they did rituals together, or sometimes it was just to contain this power. I can give an example from India, because here it shifted so much over the centuries actually. So menstruation is actually a time where you, first of all, you cleanse the body, you're deeply connected with yourself, and it's a very sacred time, and it was always considered a very sacred time. Menstrual blood is sacred and not impure. Now in India this shifted totally. Originally women, they were celebrated. And there was this rule they had that when the woman is menstruating, she is not allowed to go close to temples. Now this happened because of her protection. In this time, we are very, very sensitive to outside energies. And in India, in the temples, there's always a tree standing outside. This is the tree of souls. This is like for wandering souls which have no place to go. They will be there, they will live in this tree. And when you come there in a very sensitive state, it doesn't always have to be only when you menstruate. You can be sensitive in other times as well. But when you menstruate, you're especially sensitive. So if you would go there in this sensitive time, it would be very likely that you catch one of these souls and that these souls do some damage to you. So for the protection for the women, they said you don't go close to a temple at that time because of these soul trees, not because they were impure and they were not allowed in the temple. This all happened later on. This, like, people started practicing this. They were like, okay, when you're bleeding, you're not going to the temple. And eventually it shifted and it became like, no, you're not going to the temple, you're impure, you're not allowed in the temple. But that was not the initial thought. And like we saw it here in India, this happened almost everywhere in the world. We had those cultures where the woman was held high, where the woman was sacred, where the whole daily rhythm was according to the women. And then the men took over and the rituals stayed the same, but the reason behind shifted. Like then it was just like, no, you're not coming to the temple anymore. So this happened in many, many cultures. So I think we should come back to this understanding that women are sacred, men are sacred as well, and that our menstrual blood is not impure, but very pure and very sacred. It's a sacred liquid. In the ancient texts of India also we find it as nectar, as something very, very delightful, actually, something of the highest what we produce. So this is the first understanding what I want you to have. The menstruation is not a negative thing. It's not a bad time. It's not like when you're just lying, you have pain. It's a very, very sacred time where you can connect deeply with yourself. And now let's look into the practices which you should do or shouldn't do during your menstruation. First of all, physically you should give rest. Your body has a lot of things to do already with menstruating itself. In Ayurveda we say during your menstruation you're not just losing the blood, also a lot of toxins are released from your body. So big detoxification process is happening in your body, and accordingly you should give rest. You should really listen to what your body wants and what your body needs. For example, if you practice yoga daily, you should adjust your practice a little in these days. If you don't want to stop it at all, that is fine. You can do very soft yoga, very soft sequences, and no inverted asanas. Maybe you've heard this before, and we always have students again which say like, yeah, I've heard this, but I'm fine. I don't want to do the inverted asanas anyways. I'm fine with it. This is because you don't feel your body that well, maybe. Because when you do the inverted asanas, while you bleed, all the energy surge also goes in the other direction. So when we bleed, the energies are going down, away from here. And when we do inverted asanas, energy is pulled into up again. And with that, also the toxins are pulled up, not just physically, but energetically also. So Physically we release toxins, energetically we also release all the stuff which we accumulated in that month and which has to get out of the body now. So if I do inverted asanas, I just bring all this up into my brain, and that's not good. So no inverted asanas during this time. Also try not to do too hard exercises or where you really exhaust yourself. Your body needs this energy for the cleansing process. But it is fine to do some really gentle yoga exercises. Now, like I said, it is all about releasing the toxins. So you can use that time for doing certain meditations to release old emotions, old feelings. You can also do rituals like a fire ceremony to just release whatever you want to release. This is really the point in your cycle where you say, okay, I'm letting go of all the old stuff, and you start manifesting new things. So your menstruation is the perfect time for rituals. Especially you can do cacao ceremonies, because the dark chocolate, the cacao, all the nutrients from there will support you very much in that time. Also, it even connects you more to your inner being. It is very, very important that you take time for yourself in this time, because you will be very sensitive and you can really do a lot spiritual in this time. It's not like you cut off and you don't do anything. No, this is a high spiritual time, but you have to give rest and you have to give yourself time to feel yourself. So cacao ceremonies is a very good way. Another great thing what you can do is you journal your dreams, because in this time you're very sensitive, like I said 100 times already. You will have a vivid dreams, and write them down, see what message they hold for you. Another big thing what you can do is shamanic journeying. I recorded a shamanic womb journey for you. I'll link it up here, and this just brings you deeper in connection with your body. And it also, this journey what I recorded, it cleanses your womb, it cleanses everything on an energetical level as well, so you can help that whole process a little. And then one more big thing is, but that's like the first few days of menstruating, it's more of resting and releasing, and then slowly you can start coming into the manifesting power. You can start creating, you can do artwork, you can make a vision board, you can start dreaming of what all do you want to manifest in the next cycle, in the next month. And of course, there is one big thing which you can always do, and which I always do, and when I'm menstruating, is just lie under the stars, just watch the moon, just be in connection with the moon. The female cycle is according to the moon. We run on both cycles, actually. We run on the moon cycle and on the sun cycle. But now we're talking about menstruating, and the menstruation, our body runs on the moon cycle. So it is really beautiful to just connect to the moon in this time as well. So just lie under the stars and just be, just rest, just see what comes up. And I also want to go a little into the menstrual blood, because now I see this trend coming up everywhere again. It's actually an old practice that you collect your menstrual blood. So this is very easy. If you use pads, if you use cotton pads, you can just soak them in water and then press them, and then you have the menstrual blood with the water. And with that you can, for example, I see a lot of people, they do artwork with that, or you give it back to Mother Earth. You just pour it in your garden to a nice flower. It's also very nutritious, so you can just give it back to Mother Earth. In that sense also you can reconnect to the blood, and you can build a new relationship to the blood. The blood is nothing ugly, it is your blood. It's nothing impure, it's nothing which we have to hide. It's something very, very sacred. And if you still have this little awkwardness by touching your own blood, you should definitely work on this, because it is part of you, and you shouldn't feel awkward by something you produce. So this is also an invitation to just get to know your body more. And in general, I recommend not using hormones, but following your natural cycle. Like this, you will get to know your body in a very deep way, and spiritually as well, you will get much, much deeper, because the hormones prevent you from feeling your body. The hormones prevent you from going deeper within. So when you're on the natural cycle, when you don't use any pill, any spiral or anything, you will grow spiritually way faster. That I can promise you. Tested and proven by me. I was on the pill for a very long time, and I got off, and it was like I have two different worlds, two different bodies. Before I was totally numb. I was living behind a curtain, and all of a sudden I felt all this. So yes, so much to the spiritual practice for your menstruation. Give this video a like if you like what I share, and subscribe my channel if you want to see more videos, and see you next time.